What is going on, Cardano and the entire crypto community? Welcome to the Dapp Central YouTube channel. I've got a huge smile on my face here, and that is for a reason. The case, which has been ongoing for I think a little bit over 2 years against XRP, has now completed. We've got a ruling in the favor of the crypto and altcoin community. So it states here that breaking news: Ripple wins their case against the SEC as a judge rules XRP is not a security. Now, as a part of this update, what I want to do is briefly touch on some of the facts and a little bit of the background surrounding this case and exactly how we came here. But then I also want to talk about what we can expect to see in the near future, given the fact that the SEC has just taken a major blow to one of their biggest and one of their most visible cases yet to date. So if you guys appreciate content like this, please make sure to go ahead and tap that like button. If it's the first time that you and I are meeting each other, consider subscribing to this channel for more content surrounding crypto and Cardano. And if you have any questions surrounding anything that we're going to be chatting about as a part of today's video, then please make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. So let's quickly jump into some of the facts here, and I'm just going to read 3 brief excerpts, and then we're going to jump into some other topics that I want to jump into. So Ripple Labs scored a victory in the United States District Court in the Southern District of New York on July 13th as Judge Analisa Torres ruled in favor of the company in the case that was brought forth by the SEC, or Securities and Exchange Commission, dating back to 2020. So this has been ongoing for over 3 years. And again, it's such a big relief to the entire altcoin community. Obviously, we'll include Bitcoin in there as well. So we can just generally say the entire crypto space. Again, I've joined this space over the course of the last 2 years, and this was one of the biggest talking points surrounding the future of the entire industry. If the SEC would have won this particular case, this would have really set the precedent for them to go after additional cryptos, which I'll be breaking down in just a moment. Now, according to the documents filed on July 13th, Judge Torres has granted summary judgment in favor of Ripple Labs, allowing that the XRP token is not a security. The SEC lawsuit sought to compel Ripple to stop offering its XRP token under the premise that XRP was a security and thus required additional regulation. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with the space, you would also know that this was not the only blow coming against the entire crypto space. We just recently heard from the SEC, being led by Gary Gensler, that they were also trying to basically put into the same exact basket as XRP that Binance as well as Coinbase, which are arguably the 2 largest crypto exchanges, were also operating as unregistered securities brokers, selling tokens which included Cardano, Solana, Matic, Mana, and a few others. And so again, if the SEC were to have won this particular case, this would have given them ammunition to basically try and take down additional entities that were basically in their crosshairs. So that's the big news there. Again, really, really positive, and the markets are showing that. And we're going to take a look at that here in just a minute. Now, if I jump over to the official court document, which was just released earlier today, I'll go ahead and leave the link to this down below if you want to go ahead and read it on your own in its entirety. I do want to read this one sentence though, stating XRP as a digital token is not in and of itself a contract transaction or scheme that embodies the Howey requirements of an investment contract. Again, this goes directly against and proves that what the SEC has been saying, that these particular tokens, including XRP, are securities, is completely inaccurate. Now, this was one of the key sticking points here that we really needed, again, within this community to drive our narrative that things are no longer or should not be considered as securities. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that, given this recent ruling, this is probably not going to be the only thing that occurs. We're probably going to be able to expect, or we probably should expect, an appeal being done by the SEC to basically overturn or overrule the initial ruling. If you keep this in mind, this has been going on for 3 years. The SEC has invested a lot of time and a lot of their resources into this case. So for them to lose, again, not only does it set a precedent and give ammunition to the crypto community, it now kind of puts them in a questionable area where people might be wondering, well, if they completely were off on this particular attack, what else could they be wrong about? And what I'm alluding to is the Coinbase and Binance ruling or allegations that have come forth. So really trying to put 2 and 2 together. I don't want to jump the gun, but this is definitely going to be ammunition and evidence that the Coinbase and Binance platforms could potentially use to give leverage to their case that they are not operating as unregistered securities brokers. Now, one thing I do also want to touch on is going to be the library case, which we had a little bit of concern surrounding that. And if you guys missed this particular bit of news, this was basically a ruling that had come down a few months back surrounding the library token, which again had a very similar allegation coming against it. Now, the judge in that particular case deemed that secondary sales of the library token did not make it a security, which a lot of people, including myself, had touted on the channel here, basically as evidence that Cardano and other secondary sales of tokens should not have been considered as securities. Now, what we saw recently was that same judge that had made that ruling had actually been asked about it again, and they were not confident in restating that same exact sentiment. And so what that had done was kind of cast a shadow over XRP and what we could expect to see. However, it seems like that was not the case. Again, confirming today by Judge Torres that we do not have XRP being listed as a security. So really positive news. But as you guys know here, I am a Cardano centric channel. So I want to kind of touch on what does this actually mean for Cardano as well. So if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, I did also recently cover some news surrounding the fact that Robinhood had planned to delist Cardano as well as Polygon and Solana. And one of the key points that I'd mentioned there was not only did these platforms really jump the gun when it comes to identifying these things as securities, they had also potentially put themselves in a bad spot if these tokens were to not be deemed as securities. So for example, Ripple was delisted from numerous exchanges, and now I think there might be some plans to actually get that relisted on some exchanges now, right? So think, for example, with Robinhood, not that they've already delisted Cardano, I think it actually took place at the end of June. What if with this positive news, right? And what if we also get a drop of the Binance and Coinbase allegations? What does a platform like Robinhood do? I think they have no choice but to relist it. And at that point, I think they would really get a lot of questionable eyes and a lot of doubt from the crypto community, given their early action to jump the gun and delist them prior to any clarity, being made surrounding the case. Similarly, I covered the fact that Revolut, which is a platform operating in the European region, had recently made an announcement surrounding delisting Cardano, as well as Polygon and Matic, which again were alleged to be securities given the recent SEC lawsuit against Coinbase and Binance. And this was a similar outcome. I think, again, they've jumped the gun and they will most likely pay the price for it, right? Unless they basically just want to move forward and really maybe just stick to their guns. But I think it's going to hurt them in terms of users coming to their platform and actually purchasing these assets that we as a crypto community heavily believe in. So I think that, again, this really kind of alleviates the situation for Cardano, Solana, Matic, and all these other tokens, which were considered or alleged to be securities outside of the XRP lawsuit. And again, it gives a little bit of hope for the entire crypto space. So that said, what I want to do is just quickly take a look here at some of the action in terms of price for some of these tokens, and then we're going to wrap up today's video. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a price focused channel, but I could not miss the opportunity to highlight some of the gains that these quote unquote securities now have taken given the XRP ruling. So Bitcoin right now is going to be testing the all-time high that we've set for the year of 2023. And I'm pretty sure that over the course of the next few hours, just because of this news, this will actually take us to the next level. If we take a look at a much broader historical chart here, and if I just zoom in a little bit, what you will notice is that we have been kind of stuck here at this $31,000 range, and it looks like we could potentially be heading towards this $35 to maybe $36,000 and $37,000 range if we're able to get the next leg up. Now, a lot of people have been thinking and talking about the fact that we're in a bear market. I would say that we definitely are not, especially with some bullish news like this. I think we're going to see a lot of additional liquidity coming into the market over the next few hours, as well as the next few days. Now, if we take a look at ADA, which was supposed to be one of these securities, right? If I was going on the hourly, let's take a look at that. We can see just massive gains here that are unseen within the crypto space. At one point just now actually hitting 37 cents. Again, Cardano up 20% within the last 4 hours. If we take a look at Solana, up right now 17%, and then Matic, last but not least, up about 20%. So I just tweeted this earlier, right? Cardano actually likes to dump the hardest when it's rainy days or when the days are bad, but it's also one of the best to pump when the days are really good. You guys literally just saw that huge candle come on the screen right there, taking us from 35 cents all the way up to 36 cents in one single swoop. So a lot of people jumping into Cardano, and it's really, really showing. Now, one of my biggest convictions about Cardano is the fact that not only is the price action great, right? I, again, don't focus specifically on price on this channel, but the tech has really been coming along just fine. We've got platforms, for example, like Tap Tools, which has been doing an amazing job of allowing for us within the community to keep track of all of our Cardano native assets, which include fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens. But on top of that, we just had the release of a launchpad, which was Genius X. We've got CoinNecta, which is building. We've got LenFi going to protocol version V2. We've got Meld coming online. We've got Liquid online. We've got stable coins. We've got Mahen coming into the picture. Just so many different assets being built out right before our eyes that were not here with us during the 2021 bull run. So what does this mean in terms of price speculation? Well, I think that Cardano will be one of the few altcoins to make a new all-time high, and it will be rightly deserved. The amount of growth that has taken place over the course of the past few months and over the last year has been incredible. And I think that a lot of the greater or the broader crypto communities outside of Cardano have really underestimated the amount of building and the amount of effort that this entire community has put into the protocol. So I'm excited for that. And in closing here of today's video, I do want to briefly touch on the Bitcoin halving. So the Bitcoin halving is basically the time until the next Bitcoin rewards halving gets cut in half, or until the next Bitcoin rewards get cut in half. And what this basically does is it makes the value and the scarcity aspect of Bitcoin increase, because the amount of rewards that you would normally earn by mining and verifying a transaction or a block on the network basically gets cut in half, while the supply stays exactly the same. So there is no sense of inflation. It's actually the opposite. Bitcoin is going to be deflationary as opposed or compared to fiat. So we have under, I should say, 280 days left until the next Bitcoin halving occurs. And what we normally see is a huge price run up to the all-time high and then a break past it as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, which should be sometime around April of 2024. So if you're excited for that, let me know down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys have been accumulating. I've definitely been accumulating, as this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I personally believe in. And again, we're not going to see this ever again. The transfer of information and the transfer of wealth coming into crypto, especially with the institutions coming in, I think is going to be key. The next bull run will, I think, in my personal eyes, be one of the biggest ones. And again, we are here very, very early. So not financial advice, but if you have been accumulating, congratulations to you. I've definitely been doing that along the way, making sure to DCA. That, I think, is going to wrap it up here for today's video, touching on the SEC's ruling, or excuse me, on the judge's ruling in the SEC and XRP lawsuit, what that could potentially mean for the Coinbase and Binance lawsuit, as well as the cryptos, which were supposed to be or which were labeled as unregistered securities. Again, keeping a hopeful and a positive outlook given this news. And if you've made it all the way into this portion of the video, I would really appreciate it if you could tap that like button. If it's the first time that you and I are meeting, or if it's your first time that you're just stopping by this channel, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me surrounding anything discussed as a part of today's video, then please make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.